What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. We are on the monthly chart just to show we're at the very end of this month here. We have about a week left, 7 days, 20 or 6 days, 22 hours left. We are on the final week of March, and we are at a neutral position right now. If you guys remember, the beginning of March, I made a March analysis video, and the analysis came up suggesting that March would actually be a neutral close. I let my worst judgment get to me, and I was like, nope, that can't be. We can't be having a neutral month. We have to be pumping because I've been waiting for this pump for a while. But retrospectively, I should have just listened to the data. I used my emotions, and that rarely ever works out when you're investing. But here we are having a neutral close. That if I listened to the data, that would have been a good a good call. Ooh, hold on. I like to eat peanuts sometimes, and they choke you out, man. If you've ever eaten peanuts, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not anaphylactic. Anyways, looking at this here from a high to a low, we have consolidated around the 1272. We've dropped back down. Generally speaking, when we do see this, you kind of complete the thought and you see the 100 level at least, right? Or if not, something around this area, right? The only thing that would hold us from getting down to what is roughly $69,000, which I want to say is a very suitable target, and it's totally fine if we go to 69K, you guys. It's not a big deal. We could go lower. I doubt we go lower, too much lower, but it's possible. But the only thing saving us from that 100 area is probably this 70 to 74K area down here that we've been calling for a little while now. Being at 87,000 now, we have a neutral look on this month. We have 6 days, 22 hours left. I would expect that we come down by the end of this month, but again, I'm kind of thinking that the next couple of days will be relatively boring. We're just going to skip the weekly time frame and look at this on a daily time frame. I want to look at the weekly time frame. I feel like I'm missing out if I'm not. Weekly time frame here. Yeah, you're in this area that you've bounced from before, but you're a little bit lower, and you're not really getting as positive of a reaction. Oh, maybe it's too early to say that from here, to be completely fair, but not as positive as last time. And we did go lower. It's possible that we could go even lower still, right? And see this RSI come down near the oversold zone or even form some kind of double bottom. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I don't think that we get oversold. It's not common for Bitcoin to get oversold on a weekly basis on the RSI. If you look at this from a high to a low here, we've gone right above the 382. It's very, very common when you see a retracement, a strong move in any direction, up or down, to come up to your 382 and then proceed going lower. So that's a little suggestive there as well, unless you get above the 382, which I doubt that we do. If we look at the daily time frame here, I have been saying, at least for the past day now, maybe even the past couple days, I forget, but I expect the price to be kind of relatively boring going through this week. And then maybe starting Friday or later, that's when we'll finally get some resolution to the downside. If it's not boring in the sense of just moving sideways, if we're not just moving up and moving down and moving up and moving down, if we're not doing that, then maybe instead we have a slow crawl kind of down, very boring crawl. And then once it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, somewhere around that time frame, I think we'll start to progress lower. We'll see an immediate or more fast-paced drop. That's the expectation right now. We'll see how it goes. Time will tell. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but there are plenty of reasons why we could have found a bottom here. I mean, this is a double bottom look as of now. We are moving up as of now, but to be fair, in a downtrend, you do consolidate to the upside most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. From a relative high here to relative low here, we've double topped at the golden ratio, and I shouldn't say double top, but we've had resistance here once and resistance here twice, and we closed right at it. This, to me, generally speaking, if today does not close above the golden ratio, it's very suggestive that we're going to go lower. Most of the time on these smaller fibs, whenever you're trending, it's either that you reject the golden ratio once and then break through it on the second time, or if you find resistance on it twice, it's like you're not gonna break through it at all. Longer term time frames, you can kind of grind out that golden ratio, and it's all kind of circumstantial, but this kind of look is somewhat indicative. It could be indicative if today closes red or doesn't close above that golden ratio. It would basically have to close red. It'd be indicative that we are in fact going lower. What would be very validating to that notion would be to take out the 382, because if we look at this on a 4-hour basis, as I was saying earlier today, we've been relatively productive on this fib, right? We've been moving up to the 382, down to the 236. We came back to the 236 here, up to the 0.5, and then instead of finding support at the 236, we still held a higher low, which is fine. And then we came up to the golden ratio, found support short at the 382, very productive on this fib. So as soon as you stop being productive, which I think you would stop being productive once you take out this 382, that would very much imply that this uptrend is over. You'd also be breaking out of that uptrend there with a break below the 382, and that we would likely be anticipating extensions. Now, I'm not 100% sure. It's a bit too early to tell. I know there are a lot of people who are bullish on crypto right now, but if we were to go down, we'd see a high to low fib here, and I'll expand upon this in a second, but 73.7K to 70K are our target areas. Could we go to 67 or 66K? Absolutely. Could we go lower? Yeah, I'm not really expecting that we go below 70K though, but it's possible. Here's what I would like to expand upon, because I was actually having this discussion with somebody in my Discord today, talking about sentiment, right? And I know the fear and greed index, I love this fear and greed index on coin market cap. And I think it's a good representation most of the time of general fear and greed. It definitely is of the general sentiment. But I went through last night, because I'm the type of person to do this because I'm bored. I actually made a video on it. It was about a 30-minute video, and I didn't post it because it was so freaking boring. And I don't want to bore you guys. I don't want people to be like, C-Zar's just bored and he's making a video. That's basically exactly what I did. But I was going through some pretty big accounts on X.com, pretty big YouTube accounts. I was using their X.com page, like Crypto Lark, Crypto, Carl from the Moon, and I was checking out sentiment. I went through and I literally tallied hundreds of tallies. Simply yes or no. Did people seem like they were talking about the bottom being in or not? Lark even asked, "Do you think the low is in, or do you think we're going lower?" And I thought, because I'm bearish, I thought that the herd would be bullish. But I found that it's not bullish and they're not bearish, right? It's about, I literally, I spent an hour, you guys. I did 30 minutes of a video, but I stopped the video. I did like an hour of this going through comments. Not every comment was bearish or bullish. Some comments gave you a simple reply like, just buy, who cares? You know, and that's, I don't really count that as an answer. But if people were saying, yes, it's the low, or no, it's not the low, we're going lower, I took that into consideration. We got a 50-50 split. And the yeses had it a little bit more. I counted it up. We have like 10 more yeses than nos, but it's basically a 50-50 split. And here's what I noticed. Here is what I noticed in that time. And I'm pointing this out for a reason, right? And who knows if this is a proper way to gauge sentiment or not. I don't know, right? It's kind of a echo chamber sometimes on X.com. It's not the best way to extrapolate data, I suppose, but I did go through, and I literally just went through and tallied up everybody's sentiment from a comment basis on X.com. Half the people said, no, we're going lower. Half the people said, yes, the low is in. Of the people that said yes, that the low is in, every single one of them thought we're going to new all-time highs right now, right? Of the people that said no, they said, I would say about 20% of them mentioned the same targets that I mentioned, right? A lot of them, the majority of them, expect that we will see prices below 60K, and about half of them, or below 70K, and about half of them expect that we'll see prices below 60K. So the yeses are very bullish. They think the low is in. So whenever this low gets hit, they're not going to know what to do. They're going to panic. That's going to cause capitulation. Whenever the no's have it and we take out that low and they feel like they're victorious, they're going to expect a bigger drop, is what I've noticed. So it oftentimes, whenever you have sentiment leaning drastically in one direction and drastically in another direction, if you are to go down, I would think that we don't go down as much. I genuinely saw a lot. I was surprised how many people said we'd go below 70K and below 60K. That tells me, I think, and there's a good bit that agree with the same area that we're looking at here, but about 20%, you know, from what I could tell. I didn't like tally that up and I didn't count that up, but I'm just being fair, or at least I think I'm being fair in my own like observations. It's about 20%. It was like 1 out of every 5, you know what I mean? Maybe 2 out of every 5 at the most. Probably not even that, though. That doesn't feel right. 73K, a lot of people said the same thing I've been saying. 74 to 70K is where we're going to go. And I very much specifically think that we will go just below 72K. I think that we'll interact with this 1-4-1-4. And none of that's technical analysis. This is just me being bored. And who's to say if that's a good judge of sentiment or not? I think it is. I think it's raw data. And I think it's, something that you can really only do meticulously. And I wonder if Grok would have the same message here. Let me ask him. And yeah, you can read my stuff. I don't care. I don't look up embarrassing things. I was looking up what percentage of diseases are waterborne in the United States. What would you say in a percentage basis is the sentiment on BTC having found a low and going to new all-time highs A low at what? What was that low at? That was at 76.7K. Let's just say 76.7. Yeah, sure. Low at 76.7K and going to new all-time highs versus not having officially, am I doing this right? Not having officially found the low and still having lower to go. I hope I'm asking this the proper way. Grok gets me. Let's see though. Don't give me the cryptocurrency is very volatile. It could do either thing, you know. Yeah, let's see. Okay, good. He's just giving to me straight. He knows I don't like the BS. I like some of the BS. Don't get me wrong. Yes. Let's go to the conclusion, Grok. I can, you know, sometimes I like whenever he expands upon things. I've asked him to do this, but I know at the very end he gives me the summary. Let's see. Weakening sentiment. Conclusion. 50 to 66% believe we have found the low. Oh, wow. So 55 to 60. You know, based on my own data, from what I've seen, I would say it's about half. He's saying it's about half, leaning a little bit more to the yeses. I could see that. Even if he said it was leaning a bit more to the nose, I could see that too. But this right here, if that's what Grok's saying, and he extrapolates his data from X.com specifically, and it's rough data. Who's to say? And it's estimate, right? It's an estimate. This isn't perfect. I'm going to ask him, can you run the data again and see if you come up with new numbers? If he does, like, just to show you that it's an estimate, right? If he does come up with new numbers, I don't have access to real data. Okay, well, yeah, of course, yeah. Let's see what he says on this one though, because sometimes I've asked him things before, and he will like literally give you. Sometimes he gets the time of like certain areas wrong. Sometimes he gets things wrong, like especially with stuff like this. So I want to see. Nope. It's the same. So I mean, a little bit less to the yeses, a little bit more to the no's, but still more predominantly to the yeses. Okay, so awesome. Thank you, Grok. That'll be all. I'm gonna go close the door to my laundry machine. I didn't know that it was just making so much noise. I'll be right back, you guys. Okay. All right. Yeah. The old dryer tumbling and rumbling around. All right, so just to get a like rough kind of idea. Again, it's raw data. It's not like perfect, but the notion still. I was having a discussion with somebody, and people were saying he was trying to argue that everyone was bullish or bearish, so we're probably going to go up. And it's an echo chamber in crypto, right? You hear what you want to hear, you see what you want to see, right? But I genuinely, non-biasedly, last night, man, I spent an hour just going through the raw data myself. We just did it with Grok. I do think that more people are bullish than bearish, and maybe not even that. Maybe it's like 50-50. You know what I mean? It's pretty even. But from what I noticed, the people who are bearish are mega bearish. The bull market's over. The bull market's dead. We're going below 60K. See you in 3 years, right? Stuff like that. Not many people are expecting that we'll go just a little bit lower, and it's oftentimes the least expected areas that we do achieve. The markets are made to take money away from you. They're not made for the average person to be able to make money. Although the average person can make money if they just basically buy and don't do anything. If you pick the right projects and you buy and you don't do anything, that is. Anyways, guys, we're at about 87K. Let's get back to work here. I do believe we're going lower. I wouldn't expect that we're going to see anything drastic probably for most of this week. I think going into Friday and beyond is whenever we'll really start to move. So I'm not amused by this last couple of days to the upside. I won't be amused by the next couple of days to the downside, although I am inevitably expecting that we do go to 74 to 70K, with the exception that you could go lower, specifically expecting that we go right below $72,000, if not right there. That's the expectation overall. I've got nothing else to say. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe. Yo, I don't know what else to say. Okay, bye-bye.